Yes, guys. Any questions, any doubts?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. I hope my screen is also visible.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So see guys, in the previous session, we started with introduction to ERP. We understood what is an enterprise resource planning and how this subject is going to be useful for each and every industry, which is going to have all the major working segments like financial, sales, purchase, or accounting, supply chain, HR, and all those things. So we need to manage all this information in the ERP tool. So nowadays we have got multiple softwares available for different business segments. So all those softwares which will help a company to manage the data are called as ERP softwares. So SAP is one among them, which stands for Systems, Applications, and Products in Data Processing or in Enterprise Data Processing, you can say. And also, we understood about how SAP is configured based on the work profile. So we understood clearly that if I want to get into the technical part or coding languages and all, then I have to learn ABAP or basis language, where we can learn this ABAP language and we can uh, get into the coding part of the subject. And functional is where we are actually going to work on the software. And here we have two parts, that is consultant and end user. So consultant is majorly involved with setting up the software for the client's usage as per the requirement, and end user is nothing but the main task of a employee who is working on the software to manage company's data. Right. So right now everyone is going to target the job from end user point of view only, guys. We are not going to learn consultant. Consultant will be little bit high as we discussed in the previous session. So end user is the one which everyone is going to concentrate right now, and we are going to learn materials management module in that. Correct. So this all things we discussed in the previous session, and also about the software installation part. Not completely, but at least I gave you like what all configurations are required if you are going to install in your personal computers. Correct. So please see that you have a minimum RAM capacity of 4 GB and 240 GB of free space available in your personal in any one of their computer drives. Okay. Windows operating system only are required, but 64-bit. Apart from that, I also explained about the registration process and about the interview process, how we are going to get through. So guys, this was just a basic introduction in our previous class which we completed on Friday, and today we are going to continue with the next part. Just let me share that. Okay. So as we know guys that we are going to learn SAP materials management, which is nothing but we can call it as the backbone of a particular company. And this materials management is one component of this supply chain management case. Yes, yeah, as you can see, majorly the persons who are going to look after logistics, purchase, sales, all those are going to come under this supply chain. So supply chain is a very important part of the company, based on which a company's profit and loss statements can be also generated. Correct. So, as a simple definition of what is supply chain, I have given a simple term or simple sentence here. You can read that. It says supply chain management includes all activities that turn raw materials into finished goods and put them into customers' hand. It means that if your company is automobile manufacturing company and it is manufacturing let us say automobiles and selling it to the customer, so whatever task, whatever departments are involved in getting the raw materials to manufacture automobile, then manufacture it, then sell it to the customer, each and every part or each and every department involved in this part is a part of supply chain. Ready? Each and everything, including your transportation, logistics, returns, everything I'm saying, guys, including planning committee, production committee, quality, dispatch, sales, everything will come under this. Ready? So to make you explain again about the various other components, you can see I put some points here, like the planning committee is there, sourcing committee. Sourcing is very usually with respect to getting the vendors informations and all, and gathering the information related to your projects. and managing the inventory. Very, very important. The model which we have chosen, guys, that is materials management, is a part of inventory management here. Then logistics and transportations are there, and return of goods. If any damaged, defective components are there, we know that this happens in each and every company. So we have to look after the defective or returns of the material also. So each of these components are part of supply chain, and in that we are learning one part of that case. Which one is that? Inventory management, materials management. So what is materials management? Materials management is a module in SAP which helps organizations with inventory or warehouse management in supply chain process. And main functions of this SAP is like materials management is procurement, managing your stock or updation with the inventory part, and material planning, or you can say material requirement planning. Okay, we call it as a MRP. Getting material requirement planning. So whatever your requirements are there, let us say if you have got a manufacturing plant or a production committee, so on what basis, like let us say if I want to manufacture an automobile, so for next 6 months how much stock it should be available in my inventory. So all that should be first only we should plan all these things and see that the material is available for my production activities. I cannot stop my production here, guys. So that's why this all components are part of SAP MM, which we are going to learn in our course, guys. Right. So to start with, the first thing what we need to understand is right now we are going to learn as what, guys? End user part. Correct or no? So who are end users, guys? Anyone can explain me? I hope everyone has understood the end user part. Yes. So what do you mean by an end user?
The one who the or the SAP specifically here.
The one who an end
Employees of the organization.
Mhm. It is a
Uh,
yes.
End user is someone who is the employee of the organization who manages all the data sets and day-to-day activities of organization.
Correct, yes. So he is a person or he is an employee of a company who does his particular job for which he is hired for. Correct or no? So right now he is, let us say he is hired for purchase department. He is doing that activity. He is hired for accounting department. He is handling accounting information. He is hired for sales. Then he is doing sales information. So on. So we have multiple things. So right now we are going to learn the SAP software from end user point of view, which I made it very much clear in our previous session. But the thing is that now the software which everyone you will get and you will install it. So you have to work from end user point of view only. But as I explained in the previous class that we directly cannot go to end user. Initially, there has to be something like a consultant part, which a consultant team will set up the software as per the need of the company or organization, and then the employee of that company will work on that. Right. So, and since we are not going to learn the consultant part, so at least we should know what are our company's information present in the system, based on which I can take that information, I can start working as a employee. So therefore, the first part which we need to understand before we start with the actual syllabus is called as organization structure or enterprise structure. Because see guys, everyone here who is going to work on a software right now, so we have built a demo company in the software as a part of consultant work. So everyone is going to work for that company. So everyone need to imagine that they are hired for the company and they need to work for that company. So as an employee, you should know what is that company's information and all. Correct? So to get that, so this is the first part which we need to understand. That is called organization structure or an enterprise structure. See guys, with respect to the consultant part, I'm saying whenever the consultant people will come to the company and they see the company's profile and based on that they build a structure in the system. So based on financial team, sales team, inventory team, production team, they build different structure guys. Right. Here, as you can see from SAP MM point of view, the organization structure is divided into four main components. Which are those? As you can see, the topmost level is the client. Then we have company code. Below that we have plant, and below that we have storage location. Right. Now leave this client guys. Okay, forget the client. Can you easily guess this three components, or can you differentiate between these three components: company, plant, and storage location? Of course, it is very very easy because we know that if I'm taking an example of a particular company, that company might have multiple plants, and in each plant it can have multiple storage location. Correct or no? So this is a very simple thing to understand. But what is the difference between a client and a company? Now, those who have worked or currently working, they might know what is client guys, right? So anyone can suggest me guys what you mean by a client? What do you mean by a client?
The one who provide a particular projects to the companies for outsourcing.
Correct. See, client is a person or a company or organization who provides a project to your company. Correct. Based on which your company's what I say income is there. So he becomes a client. So client in other words we can say is a customer of our company. Yes. Simple as that. Right. So when we take this client meaning as per the normal what I say definition, so client is always a customer base. But right now when I'm speaking with our organization structure in SAP, client is not that client base. Try to understand here. Client is a bit different, right? So now this classification depends upon how big is the organization. So let us try to understand this. So anyone here currently working in any manufacturing company or worked in any manufacturing company, can they just give me some name of that? Anyone? It might be any manufacturing company, no need to worry. Just provide me the name guys, that's it.
Kararo India.
Sorry. Can you come back?
Kararo India.
Cararo. So it is spelled as CAROR
Double R R O.
double ROR. Correct?
Yes. CARO.
Okay. Now tell me what kind of manufacturing company it is.
Air manufacturing.
Gear manufacturing. Okay. Done. So this is a gear manufacturing company, guys. So since it is a manufacturing company, of course, it will have multiple departments, including the stores, the account, sales, purchase, everything is right. Now my question is, when these kind of companies take the license of SAP software, right? Now, do you think that these companies will have any other business segment apart from manufacturing? Or let me ask the same person. So are they involved in any other business segment apart from gear
No.
manufacturing?
No.
No. So in that case, what happens, guys? So when these companies take license of SAP software, of course, these companies can also take. Okay. When these companies take the license of SAP software, so what happens here? The client level, guys. Okay. So client will be defined as Karar India. Company code also will be one guys. As you can see in picture, we have two right now. But when these companies take the license, so even at company code level, we have only one company, that is Karar India only. And below that, it might have multiple plants all over the world or within India, whatever it might be. So it can define as many plants within that company, and it can define as many storage locations within those each plants. So this will be the simple classification of the organization structure. But suppose when I compare the same example with the big industries. So let me take the same common example which everyone knows about. Let us say we are going to speak with Tata Sons or Tata Groups. So tell me guys, how many companies are under Tata Sons? Can you name few? Yes. Some Tata companies guys. I'm asking some name some few Tata companies.
Tata Steel, Tata
Tata
Automobiles,
Motors, Tata Communication.
Tata Motors.
Hmm? Okay guys. Tata Consumer Products and correct. Now let me ask you this thing guys. Like now what are these guys? Are they this Tata Motors, Tata Steel, TCS, Tata Electronics? Are they separate companies guys? Or are they separate plants?
Separate plants, sir.
See guys, if you say separate plants, it goes wrong.
Yes.
So they are separate entities, but all registered under one name, that is Tata Sons. Tata Motor is a separate company which has a separate financial statement. It does not depend upon Tata Steel. No guys, it is not like that. And both of these companies never share any information. It is completely different. So TCS is a separate entity, separately registered entity, but all of them are under one organization, that is Tata Sons. So when these kind of companies take license of SAP software, so who will be client here guys? The client will be Tata Sons, the topmost level. Then comes the company code. So under that, I can define as many company codes I have. Like Tata Motors is one company code, Tata Steel is one company code, TCS is one company code, Tata Electronics is one company code. I can just go on defining as many. And after that, under each company, I can define multiple plants and multiple storage location under each plant. Great. So this is how the classification happens. But let us say you got hired by Tata Motors, okay, and you are working in Tata Motors company. So can you access Tata Steel's information sitting in Tata Motors?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So even though you as an employee of the company or working as an end user, you don't have access at the client level because you will be working for company level only. It means your topmost what I say hierarchy level will be company. But when we build it in system guys, that is in SAP software, it is always client. Okay, so now Tata Sons is a client base and others we have company codes. So understood the classification guys, organization structure. This is how
Yes,
it
sir.
is built. But as I said, like we are going to work for a company now. So everyone need to imagine that they are an employee of some company. So for which company we are going to work? So that structure I have given here. Okay. So this is our organization structure which everyone need to remember and use it until and unless this end of this course is. So what we have done? We have taken one client. Under that client we have taken a company code called as 1000. Under that company, we have taken two plants, and under each plant, we have taken two storage locations. Good. As I said, even though your company or your organization might have multiple different companies, but you can access only one company's information case. You will be not having other company's information. So right now I have taken one company, under that two plants, and in each plant we have two storage locations. But what is the name of the client, name of the company, where are those plants? Nothing we know this. Everything I will tell you once we start with the practical part of the software. Okay, so right now everyone make a note of this organization structure, which will be very much useful for you once we start with the practical part. So I'll just give you 2 minutes guys, so make this note and then we'll continue back. Yes, guys, is it done?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So let us try to understand this in much more clear way. So as we know that we have only four levels of organization structure: client, company, plant, and storage location as per MM. As you can see, client code is 800 right now, and company code is 1000. And below that, we have put us different things: plant 1000, plant 2 is 1200, plant storage location 1 is 3001, 3002. Same names have been two different plant. But apart from that, I have taken two extra informations here, which is required for our actual work, because we are going to start with the purchase activities for the inventory management and all. So this will be very much important for us anyway. So right now, as you can see, in actual working company case, like whenever you are going to work in any companies, if the plants are very big, like let us say if the company is very big and if they have got a plants separated, then of course a company can do uh, two works here. What is that? One, it can set up a decentralized systems, or it can go with centralized systems. Now what about decentralized and centralized? Decentralized means, guys, what it can do is it will give a separate authority for plant one, and it will give separate authority for plant two. So they can uh, purchase, they can manage their accounts, they can do all the storage activities at the plant level only, guys. No need to come at company level. So that is called decentralized level. But now we are going to work as centralized level, guys. Centralized means whatever information or whatever requirement these plants or the storage location have, all this information comes at the company level, and at company level we are going to manage the information. So which is called as centralized system. So now we have taken this purchase department information and accounting department information at the centralized level, guys, not decentralized. But as I said, when you go for actual working companies, if the company is very big, it will make a decentralized system only, guys, which will be simple to what I say, classify the information. Getting it? But we will take it as a centralized. So therefore, I have given one purchase department at company level. It has got two sub classification. One is called purchase organization and purchase group, which I'll explain when I start with the practical part. What is the use case of these things? And apart from that, we have accounting department for cost centers informations. So just remember these things, guys, which whenever comes into usage, I will explain their importance, guys. But right now, this is a company structure which you need to imagine. So also remember that the company which we are going to work now, we have taken a German company. Okay, so we are going to work for German client. This you need to remember, guys. So who is that, where is located, what is this information, all these things we'll see later on when we start with the software part. But from theoretical point of view, you remember this one, and of course, like after the class I'll share this notepad also. You can make a note of that, guys. Right? So this was about organization structure. So any confusion till this part, guys, or in this topic?
No, sir.
Okay. So now let us go for the next part, that is called as source to pay or procure to pay cycle. Okay, so let us start with this part, source to pay, our first important topic which we are going to do practically on the software. But before that, we have to understand the theoretical background. So we are going to understand this cycle. So anyone here, guys, has heard about this source to pay, S2P, or procure to pay, P2P cycle? Those who already worked in SAP, they might know about it little bit. So anyone here who knows about these cycles, source to pay, S2P cycle or P2P cycle?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So procure to pay is the requisition of purchasing of goods and services. And
Okay. And source to pay is? Okay, no issues, guys. So let us try to break it down and try to understand step by step what you mean by S2P and P2P. So at the end of the session, I'll be asking some few questions on this also. So if you understood, so you'll be able to answer those. Okay, they are very simple questions. So let us try to understand this, guys. So have you heard this word, guys? Procure. Procure means, or at least what do you mean by procurement? Procurement means, guys, purchasing. Simple. Okay. So guys, we know that our company or any manufacturing company always needs to purchase the raw materials, and it has to store them and send to production activities and do lot many other activities once it gets the purchase, right? So let us say that we are all hired for a new project. A new project is going on, and we are all hired for that, and there is a requirement of completely a new material, right? So for which there was no information previously available in the company. So this is completely a new project, a new material requirement and everything from the beginning we have to do here. So you tell me, guys, if I want to purchase the raw materials which is required to get for the new project, what what will be your first step to start with? What will you do, guys?
We will find vendors, sir.
You will find the vendors, and what you are going to ask with that vendor?
Material and prices for that.
Correct. So have you gathered the material information what you require? Right on. Of course, whatever you're saying it is correct, but the first thing is that, guys, we have to know what are our requirements. What did I say? This is completely a new project, right? So even you don't know what the material requirements are there, in how many quantities is this required, how big is the project, how much we have to purchase. So first we have to collect that or no? Yes or no? Right?
Yes, sir.
Or leave that, guys. Like I always take this common example in this first session, like leave industrial example. Let us say you want a groceries in your home. So when your mom says go and get the groceries, you directly go and get any groceries, or she will give you some list and based on that you purchase? Are you getting what I'm trying to say? The same thing here. Okay, so what will be the first step is we call it as determination of requirements. Okay, guys, determination of requirements. Okay, guys. So what do you mean by requirement information? See, any company which is involved in manufacturing, it might have the requirement of the materials, that is such like raw materials or any machineries, any instruments or any packaging material information or anything, or it might require some service also, guys, right? So any kind of requirement it might be, so that information should be listed down first, and based on that the approval processes are there, then we have to get that and then purchase the material. So since this is a new project, so what happens is, like, based on the information given by the production team, because they need this material, so we will prepare the list of the requirements. So that is called as determination of requirement information. So what we do here, we prepare the list of, you can say, goods or services required in the organization. Okay, guys, so this is what we do next. So let us say all the requirement list is ready now, like how many quantities, which material I require, in how many quantities I require, by when I require, okay, what is the delivery address, all that information is ready now. What next? What next, guys? So the same thing, let us stick with your groceries example only. So let us, your mom has given you the list of groceries, right? It is ready. What next will you do?
We will plan according to the requirement of client.
I will choose to for transportation. I mean,
Availability of
We
material.
will check the availability of the material, whether it is available or not.
Okay.
Because it is available in locally and we need to purchase outside.
Correct. So what did I say, guys? That's why I told you. Like I told that this is completely a new project. So of course this material information was not available before. So then there is no question of whether the stock is available or not available. That is secondary. So now directly it is like, since it is a new project, so I don't have the material information in my company itself, guys. So I need to purchase it for first time from outside. So what will you do?
We need to
We'll find
check
supplier.
where we're gonna buy. Yeah, we need to look for the supplier.
Exactly. So the second thing is that, guys, we have to look for the supplier information. That is, once I have got a requirement, so from where I should buy this? Do I have that information? No, guys, because this is completely a new project. So I have to find out the source of supply. That is called as supplier information or vendors information. Okay, guys. So the second step we call it as determination of source of supply. Okay, guys. So what we do here? Find new vendors and evaluate them. Right, guys? So what we do here? We find new vendors information as much as possible. One more question comes here, guys. Now suppose when I say determine the new source of supply, so are you going to find only one supplier information and finalize that only?
No, sir.
No.
Need to take both the
We have to
test
contact
process.
multiple suppliers. We have to search multiple supplier information. We have to contact them, ask the quotations, make a comparison, go with negotiations, and lot many things will happen in the backend. So I'm speaking all. So what we need to do, take multiple vendors into consideration, and by taking their lot of parameters like price, delivery time, quality, yes or no. So all these things you check. So based on this, what you do, you select the best vendor, that who fits in your requirement, you select it. So that will be your third step. So what we do, selection of vendor, or you can say best vendor. So once you get the list of the vendors, you find out the vendors information and you evaluate them, because as we discussed, evaluation is important for making the comparison between different vendors. And after that, we select the best vendor. So guys, so vendor is available now, requirement of material information is available. So how do you purchase the material? So can you directly contact and purchase the material from the vendor? What will be your next step, guys?
No, sir.
Doing assessments.
Take the quotation and issue the PO for this.
You raise a purchase
To
order.
create for
Okay, exactly, guys. So from the what I say, B2B transactions point of view, I hope everyone knows what is B2B and B2C. B2B means business to business transactions, and business to customer transactions.
Customers.
See, the process which we are learning right now, it is completely from business to business transaction. It means the person from whom I'm purchasing, or nothing but the supplier, who we call it as. So even he is doing a business, and even I am doing a business. So I'm not an end user of that. If I'm the end user, then that becomes B2C cycle. So that comes under sales department. But now we are involved in inventory management, materials management. So we are going to deal with only B2B transactions. So here, when I say I have selected the vendor, so the next step is not that you directly create a PO and directly go with that. Of course, like out of multiple vendors, you have selected the vendor, right? But have you managed all the informations correctly? What I'm trying to say is, suppose you get hired in a interview, guys. Okay, let us say all the rounds you have cleared, and HR has put a mail saying that you are shortlisted or you are selected. And the question is, can you start working in that company from the next day?
No.
No.
What is the process after you get selected?
There will be a background verification.
Right?
It's
So
the
verification
onboarding.
process, documents upload process is
Schedule
there,
as personal
right?
details.
When then onboarding process is there. So after all those things, then you will start working on the project, right? So same here. When I say that out of multiple vendors which I had sourced, I have evaluated them and I have selected the best vendor. But did I make any agreement or a contract with this vendor to proceed? Not yet, right? Yes, okay. So what we need to do is we have to go for contract management. What is contract management? It is a very important and critical step after the selection process of the vendor, where we put a lot of legalities, terms and conditions, and whatever the terms and condition has been agreed between both the parties related to the price, the duration of the material supply, or it might be with respect to the payment terms or delivery part, whatever it might be, guys. So all those terms and conditions will be added in that contract. So once it is ready, then I can say that this vendor is ready to do the business and I can proceed further. Right or no? So then your step comes, which you were saying that placing the or creating the purchase order and all. So we take that into consideration of placing an order. So now since requirement information is ready, vendor is ready, all the terms and conditions are done, then I will directly place an order now, guys. So to place an order, what is the first step? The first step is creating the purchase order. I hope everyone knows what is purchase order, or in short we call it as PO. So PO is a very important document in purchase activity space. So whatever a buyer have got a requirement of the information or materials or service requirement, so all that information he will add, and also he will add the terms and condition agreed in contracts and then put it to the vendor. So once a purchase order is created, guys, what happens? As an employee you have created, guys, so can you directly contact the vendor and purchase the material? So you will take all the decisions? No, guys.
Also,
What will happen once the purchase order is created? So PO is what I say,
need to forward to finance department, sir.
yeah, so it is approved
For
and
financial approval.
released to vendor. Correct. So there is an important process in each and every company, that approval process. So whatever documents you create, it is not like you can take all the what I say decisions on yourself. So you have to take approval from your higher authorities like manager, team lead, or HOD, or whoever it might be. So you have to take approval of that, and once it is approved, then you can release it to the vendor. Correct. So now there is a question, guys. What once I release it to the vendor, guys, do you think the order is placed? Is it done?
No.
Then what is left in this order placement, guys?
Invoicing, purchase invoice.
Invoice, payments, and all will
Order
come. That is a
acceptance.
process part. But I'm speaking with only placing an order. Now, after I create a PO and take approval and send to vendor, do you think the order is placed?
Vendor need to accept it, sir. As per our PO terms and condition, vendor need to accept it, sir.
Correct, guys. So vendor needs to accept, right? So as a buyer, we are doing all these activities. We have created the purchase order and we have approved and we have sent to the vendor. But who is going to take a confirmation from the vendor? That is also important step, no? Normally, now suppose, guys, if you are purchasing anything from Amazon, Flipkart, or anything, right, online. So as soon as you select a particular item to purchase, the payment options will come, delivery address will come, and at the last there is an option called as place order. So as soon as you click on that place order, do you get any confirmation message on your smartphone saying that your order is confirmed? You will receive the material in so and so working days. Will you get or no?
Yes, we can get.
So that is a very important step, guys. If you don't receive that confirmation message, guys, your order is not confirmed. So order confirmation from vendor is very important, guys, because whatever terms and condition, whatever price of the material I have added in that PO, even vendor should accept it, right? If he's saying that no, you have added a wrong price, you have added the wrong delivery time, then he might reject also, guys, your order to the vendor. So it is very important that after releasing the PO to the vendor, take order confirmation from the vendor. So once the order confirmation comes from the vendor, your order is placed case. Now I can say my order is completed. Oh, sorry, it is placed. What happens next, guys? What happens next? Now order is confirmed. Okay, so it means you are going to receive the material. What you are going to do next? Next step is, as a buyer, we will take the delivery follow-up and track the delivery status. Do you do this or no? You track your material delivery?
Yes, sir.
Right? So why it is important? Now because as we are doing a business, so whatever the delivery time it might be given. So let us say vendor has confirmed saying that you will receive the material in 5 working days or 10 working days or 30 working days, whatever it might be. So we have to see that the material is going to reach us within a time, so that I will not have any problem in my production activities or in other part. So I have to continuously take follow-up with the vendors whether the material is dispatched, where it has reached, or I have to track the delivery status. So after all these things, let us say we have received the material within the time. What next? After receiving the delivery, update it in GRN. What is GRN, guys?
Goods receipt note.
Goods receipt note. Right? So now goods receipt note is a document which is created by the buyer himself to provide a confirmation about material delivery status. So it is again coming back to your same online shopping. As soon as you receive the material, you get a OTP, right, guys? You have to provide to that delivery boy, and he will add it, and you will get a message saying that order delivered or order completed. Right or no? The same here. Once we receive a material in a company, we have to verify, check it, or inspect it, and after that, a report is generated by the buyer. So that report, which contains the information about material received part, is what we call it as GRN, goods receipt note, or in other ways we can call it as goods received note also, because this document plays a very important role to provide the confirmation of the material delivery. So we have to submit one copy of this to the supplier also, so that supplier will understand how many quantities I have received in good condition or in defective conditions or in any other process. Okay, guys? So all this information has to be updated. Now, once the GRN is also done, guys, let us say one copy of this is submitted to the vendor. What next? What next, guys? What vendor will do?
Get a sign from the vendor regarding the material.
Get a what we have to get?
Invoice get from the vendor.
Confirmation sign.
No, here there is no confirmation of what I am receiving the confirmation for, because material order is placed, so has given the confirmation. I have received the material, so I have given the confirmation. That is through GRN.
If I received a fault items, then we need to
Yes.
the confirmation, sir.
See, guys, now the important thing is that the last part, like I have received the material, so now I have to end this process by making a payment. Correct, guys? So now before you make a payment, what you have to receive from the vendor? Invoice copy.
Yes.
Good or no? So here what happens? Vendor uh, provides the invoice copy after receiving the GRN of the buyer. So what buyer will do? Buyer checks the invoice which we call it as invoice verification. Okay, which we call it as invoice verification process. So guys, do you think that invoice verification is important or no? Just like once we receive the material, we have verified the material information. So similarly, once we receive the invoice copy from a vendor, we have to verify it also guys. I hope everyone verifies your bill, right? Whenever you do any shopping or go to hotels and all. Yes or no?
Yes,
Same
sir.
thing. When we do the
Yes, sir.
business, so the value of these invoices will be very high. There will be not small amount guys. So of course, invoice verification becomes very important. For example, let us say I have ordered 100 quantities in the purchase order, and I have received the invoice copy from the I have received the material from the vendor in which 10 quantities were defective. Correct? And later on, when I received the invoice from the vendor, it was for 100 quantities only. So will you initiate the payment or no guys?
No, sir.
No? What will be the reason for that? I hope you got my
Because 10 pieces are defective, no?
correct guys. So the question is, will you make a payment for material received part or material ordered part?
Material
Until
received.
received part.
Correct, it's very simple it is. So when you receive 10 quantities defective, but vendor has added the 100 quantities value itself, so it will be wrong information. So that verification process will get through. So in that verification, if anything gets or if suppose if it is not getting tallied with respect to material received, material ordered part and all, then we have to block that invoice and get in touch with the vendor and rectify this issue, whatever it is there. And let us say if everything goes well and everything comes in line, if everything gets tallied with the invoice copy of the vendor, then lastly we end up our process by making what is payment. So this process entire which we discussed, starting from sourcing, source to pay, source meaning what is finding out the new supplier information to payment activities, is called as source to pay cycle. Then what is procure to pay cycle? Why they have given another name for this? I'll come to that case. No need to worry. Now, before I go there, as you can see here, there are so many roles which we discussed here, right? And this is also just overall rules, guys. Just to break up in stepwise, just overall rules. But in this again, there are a lot of things or a lot of steps involved when we get in deeper section. So, what we have to understand here. So, do you think all this thing, whatever steps we have done here, all this work is done by only one department or only one person? Yes?
No. No.
Not at all case. So all this is a complete process, end-to-end process is there, where a particular company will work on. So each and every department should link with each other to get this information flow. So initially you can see determination of requirements are there. Who will get the requirement information? Majorly production team or the manufacturing committee. They will provide your requirement, or store department, they will provide the requirement information guys. Based on that we have to find out the new source of supply, select a vendor, make a contract and all. So who will do these things? These are done by sourcing committee. So there's a separate team which is a part of purchase department itself, but they'll do this sourcing activities where they find out the new source of supplies and make the all legalities are involved, so legal team into come into play here. So all these things will be taken care. After that, placing an order, creating the purchase order and all, or tracking the material delivery status. So all this is done by PO team, purchase order team, or you can say simply purchase department work. So after that, receiving the material and updating GRM, inventory team, warehouse committee, and after that, receiving the invoice and doing invoice verification and payment process, accounting team, accounts payable, we call it as AP committee. So all these things are going to be taken care by various other departments. But since it is in line, so everything should be linked guys. So the software should be such that it will have information from first step to last step with one click. Really? So everything should be there. If you just open PO, so in that PO everything should be there, guys. Like how many metals are ordered, how many metals are received, how many metals are still pending, how much payment has done, still how much is pending. So everything should be available in one click. So such softwares have got a lot of demand. So this entire process is called as source to pay cycle. Now the question arises, now whatever material you have purchased now and we have made a payment. So we had purchased, let us say, for 2 months or 3 months. After 3 months, again that material stock is over. So what happens? The requirement information is once again raised because it is low or short on the stock. So the requirement information is once again raised. But this time the requirement information is raised for ongoing project case. The first time when we took it was a new project and we did all the process case. Now when it comes for second time, the what I say, of course the store department will check the store, as you were saying, that whether the material is available or no, whether it has got a shortage. It will check all that information and based on that it will prepare a requirement list. Right, so those will done. So those people will do this. But what do you think is, so from second time onwards also, are we going to do all these steps once again? Are we going to find out new source of supply, again select a new vendor, again manage the new contracts? Are we going to do all these things once again?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Oh no.
So what to do, guys, from second time onwards? So henceforth,
That,
once the agreement, let us say this contract has been signed for 1 year. So till 1 year, I will not look after any other vendor. Or suppose if that vendor in that 1 year, if he supplies good quality of material and there were no dispute with that vendor for any reason, then I can again renew the contract and continue with that vendor. But henceforth, whatever you are going to do, guys, whenever you work out a requirement of that existing project, you will not do any of this process, guys. You will directly create what, guys? Purchase order. You will directly, because once the requirement is raised, you will have the vendor's information available already ready, right? So what we'll do, you'll directly place the order, receive the material, create a GRN, receive the invoice and do the invoice verification and payment. So henceforth, in future cases, you will be doing only these activities, guys, which are your day-to-day profile work: placing the order, tracking the material delivery, creating GRN. So this will be henceforth regular process. For this process we call it as procure to pay, because here the cycle does not concentrate on finding out the new source of supply. It concentrates only on purchase and payment. Procurement means what, guys? Purchase and payment. Sourcing to payments, finding out the new source of supply and ending to payment. So source to pay is not a regular process, guys. It is one time process. And procure to pay is a regular process. Understood the difference?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So here again we can break up this in one more cycle, guys. Actually, the process of sourcing and uh, what we say, selection of the vendor and contract. Actually, this is called as source to contract cycle also, guys. What is called as source to contract cycle, or which is called as S2C cycle. Okay, and in that, if you add the next part, that is what below that, what is that? Below that we have, which is a cycle, guys, P2P cycle, and combining both, we have got S2P cycle. So S2P is the entire process, guys. So in that entire process, we can again classify that into source to contract and P2P. Understood? Now,
Yes, sir.
if anyone asks you guys, explain in a simple language or in a one sentence the difference between S2P and P2P. So anyone here, please, who can explain me as a part of interview? I don't want the full page explanation. Just in one sentence, if you want to differentiate S2P and P2P, just tell me how we are going to differentiate this. How we are going to answer this.
So S2P is the entire process of procurement, and P2P is only purchase and payment process.
Mm,
P2P is direct payment. S2P is Verification before payments.
Okay. Any other answers? See guys, let me explain that. Right. So as you can see here, source to pay or P2P difference. So the entire cycle, which starts with the spend analytics, that is what finding out the requirement information, sourcing the new vendors, contract managements, ordering the what I say materials, but everything comes in ordering, and then payment activity at the last after invoice verification. So entire process is what we call it as source to pay. And in that, if you go up to contract management, we call it as source to contract, and after that we call it as procure to pay cycle, right? So this, I hope everyone has understood this. But the difference here, whenever you have got a requirement of the materials guys, so what the company people will do, they'll search for the vendor's information. If vendor is already there in the company guys, what you'll do, you'll create a PO, you receive the material and create GRN, you receive the invoice and do invoice verification and payment, which is what we call it as P2P cycle. Because here there is no need to find out new vendor because vendor already exists. But suppose whenever you have got a requirement of a material for a new project, so there will be no vendor available in the company. So what you have to do? You have to find out the new supplier, select the best supplier, and after that do the P2P cycle itself. So entire thing contributes to S2P cycle. So what is the difference here? The difference is vendor exists or vendor does not exist. So whenever you have got a requirement of materials, and if vendor exists, you will go for which cycle guys? P2P cycle. And if
P2P.
vendor does not exist, you'll go for what? Source to
S2P.
pay
S2P.
cycle. So simple answer is. Got it or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now if you have understood this, can you answer this guys? Is P2P part of S2P or S2P part of P2P?
P2P is part of S2P.
S2P is part of S2P.
Everyone agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Part of
Yes, sir.
first one or second one?
First one.
First.
First
First
one.
one.
Correct. So already answer is there in front of you here itself. As you can see, P2P is one part of the entire cycle. Good or no? So as we have understood here, so P2P is only this much, right? So entire cycle is source to pay. So P2P is part of entire cycle, S2P cycle. Okay, guys. So this was the first introduction session for the syllabus point of view of our SAP MM. So for our first week, which the syllabus we are going to learn on software practically. So for that, we are initially going to start with the P2P cycle itself. So we are not going to go with sourcing because sourcing and all requires a lot of theoretical knowledge. So if I explain directly that, then you will not understand anything, guys. So what we will do is, as an employee, as I said, like you are hired for a new company. That company's information just now I have given. So let us say there is already a ongoing project, right? So for which I have listed some vendors name and materials name, which we have to take into consideration right now, which are from company's point of view, and we have to work on this. So for first week syllabus, we'll be concentrating only on P2P cycle base, which is a very important step in our SAP software. So we'll understand this all the thing end-to-end process first and do it practically also. So that simultaneously theoretically plus practically both. And once it is done, then we'll go to the sourcing activities to find out the new vendors. Getting us? So from tomorrow onwards, we will start our practical session with directly with the software. And if anyone has got any issues with the software installation, that also we'll see tomorrow. And I'll try to go with what is software installation. So I'll once again explain. I don't know how many of you have gone through the installation video, but I'll explain the process once again. And after that, those who have downloaded the software, they can install the software and they can start with the practice case. Okay.
Okay, sir.